Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 21st tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we are going to talk about nested loops in Python. And nested loops are loops within loops. So we've checked out the nested if-else construct earlier in the course, and nested if-else statements are if-else statements within if-else statements, and similarly nested loops are loops within loops. And what we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to use for loops, and we're going to use the range function, the break statement, and a few more things to find out prime numbers between 2 and 100, and also numbers that are not prime between 2 and 100. We're going to display all of them on screen, right? So it's going to be a slightly tricky program to understand, judging by the fact that in the course thus far we've had like really simple programs, and we haven't been programming. We've just been playing with the Python programming language, and we've been checking out its features. So this is going to be like first real programming example in this course, and I'm excited about this tutorial. So the first thing that I'm going to do is type in the keyword for, and then a variable for my for loop, and I'm going to call it var1, and then the keyword in, and then I'm going to get the range function to make the loop from 2 to 101. And the reason why I'm going to loop till 101 is because when you use the range function, the upper limit is not included in the range set. So since we want to find out prime numbers between 2 and 100, we'll have to loop, we'll have to keep the upper limit for the range function as 101 and not 100, right? So if you want to find out prime numbers between 2 and let's say 998, then you have to put 999 as your upper limit in the range function, right? I'll put in a colon here and get inside the body of my for loop, and I'm going to use a variable called flag, and I'll set it to true, right? And this is not going to make sense right now, but just imagine flag to be some kind of a variable that you use to check where you are in your program and what is happening, right? And it's going to make sense in a couple of minutes, but for the time being, just know that it's a variable that you need to have in this program, right? And the next thing that I'm going to do is type in for again. So this is another for loop within the outer for loop, right? So that's why this is an example of the nested loop construct in Python. And the variable for this for loop is going to be var2. And again, I'll type in the in keyword and then the range function. And this time the lower limit for range is going to be 2, but the upper limit for range is going to be var -1, right? var1 -1, sorry, I apologize. So what we're going to do is, let's say we want to find out whether 13 is a prime number or not. So we're going to divide 13 by 2, and then 13 by 3, 13 by 4, and we're going to keep on dividing 13 by numbers till we divide 13 by 12, right? So that's what we're going to do. And if the remainder obtained in any of those division operations is 0, then it means that 13 is divisible by one number between 2 and itself, and that means that it is not a prime number. So then we're going to break out of the inner for loop and we're going to display a message, right? So I hope now things are making some kind of sense. So I'm going to put in a colon and get inside the body of this for loop, and as I said, we're going to check whether the remainder obtained when you divide the outer variable with the inner variable, that is var1, and I'm going to use the modulus division operator, which is the percentage symbol, var2 equals 0. And if this is the case, then as I said, we're going to first print using the print statement that the variable var1 is not a prime number, right? And the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to set the flag to false, and then we are going to break, right? And outside the inner for loop, at the level of the inner for loop, that is, we are going to have an if statement that is going to check the value of flag. So if the flag variable is true, in only that case we are going to have a print statement that is going to execute, and that is going to display the message. Okay, wait a second, this has to be outside the double quote. So var1, then I'll put in a comma here, and inside the double quotes I'll type in is a prime number, right? So the role of the flag variable, as you guys have probably figured out by now, is that if the number that the outer for loop is going to pass into the inner for loop, if that number is not a prime number, then flag will be set to false. And the if statement here is using the flag variable to check whether the number is a prime number or not, right? So if it is a prime number, in that case, this if statement is never going to evaluate to true, and the value of flag that will be passed to this if statement is going to be true because we initially set it to true. Whereas if this if block executes and if the condition evaluates to true, then the if block is going to set the value of the variable flag to false, and in that case this if statement will fail, and we'll go back to the outer for loop with a new value for var1, and then we're going to repeat the same procedure again, right? So let me save this program and execute it, and there you go. We see that when I run the program, I get this really awesome pretty list with all numbers between 2 and 100. So I see that 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number, 5 is a prime number, 7 is a prime number, so on and so forth. I see all prime numbers, and I also see the numbers that are not prime. So 4 is not a prime number, 6 is not a prime number, and 8 is not a prime number, so on and so forth. And I get my list up to 100. Right? So this is really cool, and I agree that there are better ways of doing this program, but then I thought that this is the most easy way to understand, so that's why I picked this up. And I hope you guys had fun watching this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one, in which we'll discuss something interesting for sure, and you may subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.